Hey guys, Sun here. I'm a privacy and security researcher, and you're watching The Privacy Guides. In last episode, I kind of gave you guys some context as to the hustle that goes into creating these episodes and why I started accepting donations and why it matters. I also reached out asking, hey guys, do you have ideas as to how I could monetize all of this work in a way to make the process of creating the Privacy Guide sustainable financially so that I can pay rent and stuff like this? Right now, I'm not even close to earning enough to be able to sustain a project. I am sustaining it through past earnings. But all that said, you guys had really great ideas. And one of them is, Sun, why don't you set up a Patreon? Now, first things first, LibrePay is very similar to Patreon, except for one very important fact. LibrePay will not give back perks in exchange for a donation. It is really a donation. Versus Patreon, which is more of a commercial enterprise where you give back perks in exchange for support. The difference there is that one, LibrePay is open source and does not take a cut, and anything you give through LibrePay is not taxable, at least in Canada, because it is a donation. Versus Patreon, which really functions similarly to YouTube. When I get revenue off YouTube, it's like any other income, so it's taxable, stuff like this, and both YouTube and Patreon take a cut. Getting this outside of the way, the other thing that is really important to me, and that's why I mentioned Aaron in the title of this episode. If you guys don't know who Aaron Swartz is one of the co-founders of Reddit. He also was an internet activist and kind of like a white hat hacker that really fought to keep knowledge open source, open to anyone. And he was in a privileged situation working at MIT or studying at MIT. I don't remember the exact story, but he ended up setting up a little piece of tech to download essentially huge amount of knowledge, hoping to essentially make it public domain. So when people study in universities, stuff like this, they often have access to very expensive data sets that essentially get all kind of public domain knowledge and aggregates it into searchable kind of form. And he wanted to take all of this data and make it available to everyone, not only people who can actually afford to pay to go to MIT or other expensive American schools, for instance. So Aaron's work is something that has been extremely inspiring to me, and unfortunately, and that is very, very tragic. Aaron ended up being charged, looking at Wikipedia here, with 2 counts of wire fraud and 11 violations of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, carrying a cumulative maximum penalty of $1 million in fines and 35 years in prison. And clearly, he was charged with trying to take information that, in my opinion, should have been public domain and making it public domain. I think knowledge, especially in the context of the internet, should be available to everyone. So for me, I see a lot of other YouTubers creating content that is only available to Patreon supporters. And to me, that goes against pretty much all of myself. It's against my values. So that's something that I never want to consider. If it gets to that, I prefer to get, to start doing consulting work on the side again, start, earning revenue, and then doing this privacy stuff as a side gig. The most tragic part of the Aaron story is that Aaron ended up committing suicide when he was only 26 years old, not wanting to bend over backwards and take a plea deal where he would only spend 6 months in jail for trying to get information to everyone, to democratize knowledge. So anyways, before getting back to hands-on material, I wanted to make sure that I shared this with you. The only idea so far that appears to make sense is merch, But I have a few questions for you before I even consider this. First things first, this is a privacy conscious audience. Are you guys comfortable with me shipping merch to you? Are you comfortable if I use a third party supplier to essentially streamline the operational burden of, creating this material and sending it over? Would you prefer if I handle that myself in a privacy conscious way to make sure that only I know your address, for instance? That would require a lot more work, so that would require more expenses to you. And what kind of merch would you be down for? I mean, someone said a hoodie like this would be amazing. I would love to hear your ideas. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of stickers. And I always wanted stickers on my computer of open source projects such as, DuckDuckGo. Not sure if this will focus here. And I wasn't able to find, places to get those stickers. So something that I find pretty cool as an idea for merch is I could put together a sticker pack. I actually made those. I had them printed. What's the name of that place? Jesus. Oh yeah, I had them printed at Sticker Mule. And those stickers are like fabulous quality. So yeah, maybe I could put together a sticker pack of open source, privacy conscious stuff. And maybe that's something that you guys would want. But like, how much are you willing to pay for a sticker pack? How much are you willing to pay for a shirt like this one? Now, obviously, there's a lot of labor and time that would be needed for me to like get all of this together. So it couldn't be super cheap, or else I would be working for free again. And I'm trying to find a way of sustaining this Privacy Guides project. So yeah, all that said, thanks to everyone who donated. Thanks to everyone who is part of the Privacy Guides community. I should even say this again, donations are cool, but what's even cooler is what we're building together with the Privacy Guides project. What's happening on the GitHub discussions is fabulous. We're helping shed light on why privacy matters. We're becoming privacy conscious together, and that is super cool. So if I have to do whatever on the side to be able to sustain this project, I'll do it anyways. It will just make the process slower because I'll have to, dedicate a significant amount of my time to other things that don't end up here. Okay. By the way, before I let you guys go, there's a documentary that I would really recommend called The Internet's Own Boy. I think you guys can find this on YouTube. It's a documentary on the life of Aaron. And yeah, this episode, Aaron, is dedicated to you. It's really a loss that you had to go so early. Anyways, take care, guys.